Fakes, frauds, scams, and scammers. It's rife out there. And I don't just mean for the precious metals industry. Yes, there are fakes, and we've got some fakes here that have come in to share with you. But just in bigger, wider society, I'm seeing more and more businesses calling out that they are being scammed and defrauded on a daily basis. You just got to watch Clarkson's farm to find that people steal his light bulbs every day. 400 pint glasses a week from his pub go missing. Why is it like this? Are gold and silver the solution to the problem? Are they part of the problem? Is the cost of living to blame? Is the rising prices of inflation, which we tell ourselves that gold and silver will counteract, but when there are potential frauds out there that you can get stuck with some pretty horrible fake coins, or you just end up buying from a company that's there simply to part you from your money by selling you tat that, yes, might actually be precious metal, but actually is costing you 2, 3, 4 times what it really should. It just speaks to me that there is bigger, deeper problems in society, and being your own money, being your own bank, is that really the solution? I kind of feel like, yes, it's the only possible solution, which is why I'm buying more gold right now. It seems certainly the way the world is going that it's going to be needed for any individual who wants to be on their own in this world rather than be kind of beholden to the bigger picture of finances. But that's not without its problems either. So join me for another precious metal ramble. If you have not watched my videos before, I'm Backyard Bullion. I like to ramble about shiny things in a down-to-earth way, sharing my own views and opinions. Now, as I said, frauds, fakes, scams, and scammers. That's the overarching topic of today. There's always been frauds, there's always been fakes, there's always been scams and scammers for the precious metal industry. It's because this stuff is valuable at the end of the day, and because it's valuable, it has more benefit for scammers. And that has only accelerated drastically. So we have here some fakes that came through from a customer who was selling some of their silver. He wasn't sure if they were genuine, and when I got them, I could pretty much tell immediately. I had my suspicions when he sent me some photos of them, but I thought there's a chance that they might be sterling silver or something, but no, they are all in fact fakes. Now, I've not done any destructive testing on them to chop them up and find exactly what they're made of, but I suspect it's going to be silver-plated copper or brass, basically. They're Chinese fakes. I can say that with about 99% of certainty, but that's just the way the market has always been. They've been around for a very long time. Machines like the Sigma are really good at catching these. I mean, it's just easy for me as a business to be able to take one of these coins, pop it onto the machine, have the silver setting on there, and immediately know that this is not a genuine silver coin. These Britannias also came in from the same seller at the same time, and look, they are perfect and in the green. So you can definitely quickly tell the difference between these coins with the Sigmas. So fakes are out there, and there are ways to protect yourself from that, but ultimately it's just rampant and rife at the moment. And the benefit that people can get from, whether or not these coins were ultimately tried to be passed off as gold fakes, I think they probably were, because this one here has got a denomination of $100 on it, which would be the normal denomination for sort of a coin of that size. But it's not a real gold coin by a long shot. It is just some kind of copper blank that has been made to fool someone. And whether or not you even fool someone for the full price of an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver, it doesn't need to be that, because these will be made for like 20 pence each in some big factory somewhere. And then if they're sold for £2 on eBay even, you're making big money on that profit margin. And if you are, I see it all the time on eBay. I see sellers pop up out of nowhere and they put Britannias, that they use real photographs of Britannias or whatever, but it's coming from China. It says so on the eBay listing, and and they price it at like £20 each, and so you just know it's going to be fake. But they do it, and 90% of the buyers that get them probably will not know because they're greedy and they don't really check, but 10% will know. So your profit margin is massive still as a scammer. But that's slightly different to some of the scams that I'm seeing sort of really rampant and rife at the moment, where I referenced at the beginning of this. And it's not just in our precious metal industry for gold and silver, but just in the bigger world, we're seeing more and more scams every day. I'm seeing companies, I'm on a couple of really interesting business forums and stuff as well, small business forums, what's it called? Like the local Better Business, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, my brain has gone completely blank. It's a sign of middle age, but it's like the local business association. And there are businesses there that share stories all the time about scams where people are now using AI generated images to basically say, hey, what you sent me isn't right, or it's damaged. And so they get either a partial refund or a full refund on the items that they've been buying. And I mean, it's just absolutely begs belief that this is the case. But these companies are like, well, it can't be that. Why is it? Well, how has that happened? And then whether or not they are able to, I mean, so first of all, there's an interesting argument that I've been seeing on a lot of forums at the moment where a business has been sent these AI generated images of these coins. By the way, you'll notice that coin there went into the red. I don't think this is a fake coin. I think it's just because it's in the capsule. And I would have to take it out of the capsule to really get that perfect reading on the Sigma, or use the Pro. Anyway, back to my point. These companies that are getting these, fake chargebacks when they're getting emails from customers saying, "Hey, this particular thing that you've sent is damaged." Will that company then put a claim in with the likes of Royal Mail or their shipping carriers to get compensation for the damage? And if they are doing that using the customer's photographs, that's sort of technically a little element of fraud there because it's not genuine. But who's committing the fraud? Ultimately the business there is being somewhat defrauded by the fact that they not even unsuspecting, the deliberate fraud of the customers to make these fake images and then send it off to the company for a refund or a partial refund for the damage. I mean, it's just crazy. I also had an interesting one about, it was about 9 months ago. No, it was a bit longer than that. It was about a year ago now. I was selling some of my Magic the Gathering cards. And at the same time as selling them, I also bought a pack off eBay. So I was doing a lot of eBaying. I was enjoying the eBay process. It was good fun. And I bought a pack of, or a box, of the Lord of the Rings themed cards. Because what I wanted to do was make a little collage of some of the cards in that series. Because they were really cool, the artwork. I like them. As a Magic the Gathering fan, I like that. So just get some of the really cheap cards, stick them in a nice collage. And I thought that would be really fun. Anyway, I got this box through and it was off eBay. So it was a decent price. Buy it now. Wasn't like a Chinese cheap price like these kind of things here, but it was for those who don't know, Magic the Gathering, normally it's like 80, 90, 100 pounds for a booster box. This one was up at 65 pounds, I think it was, because there was some damage to the cellophane seal. But I was like, well, I'm just going to open it all anyway, so it's not like I'm buying a sealed product. So I bought it, opened it instantly. It was obvious because they didn't even bother to reseal the packs inside, but the packs had all been opened inside, all been put back in the box. All the rare cards have been taken out of the packs. Now, the thing with Magic the Gathering is that you can buy these boxes, you can potentially get some value out of the rares. And from my perspective, I was like, well, if I spend £65 on the box, if I say get, £30 out of the rares that come out of it, then my collage has only cost me 30 quid. Great, I love it. But then I messaged the seller and I was like, sorry, buddy, this one's been opened already. Now, the seller was great about it. And listen, the seller could have been guns blazing at me saying, you're trying to defraud me. You're trying to pull one over on me. You've opened it, taken the res, and now you're trying to do a chargeback. And I was like, look, I'm not. This is just genuine what's happened. The seller, to their credit, said, hey, look, really sorry about that. Issue a complete full refund. Keep all the cards. Don't worry about sending them back. He said, I bought it from an Amazon returns pallet and his aggregate cost for the entire box was about £5 or something. So what's happened there is somebody has bought from Amazon this brand new box, taken out all the rares, sent it back to Amazon and made it look like it's not been opened. It's been put on an Amazon returns pallet, sold to someone else. I mean, that's just the state of the world, isn't it? That's just completely awful. Like, so many people along that step have taken bad actions, including, in my opinion, the likes of Amazon for not bothering to check. And that's part of the problem. We're now used to, and we said it to Mrs. Backyard Bullion a few times when she's bought things like, so for example, weighing scales. We've had a whole bunch of different weighing scales in our time for the kitchen, just random kitchen weighing scales. And Mrs. Backyard Bullion needed to buy a new pair because our scales that we had broke. And that's another thing, that everything seems to break in like 5 years now rather than the sort of 20 years that you used to get out of everything. So you can see these are underneath the ounce of silver as well. Anyway, back to my story. I like to ramble. It's what I do best. If you've not followed the channel for a while, enjoy the precious metal rambles that I do. So anyway, she was like, oh, we'll buy some new scales. And I just went, oh, well, if you're going to buy them from Amazon, because if they don't work or if they're naff when you get them, we can just send them back. So she did, and we bought a set that looked good. It was naff. It was awful. It wouldn't weigh anything. I tried to, just not even to get an accurate weight, but I put a Silver Britannia on it and it came up at like 35 grams. I was like, that's not good at all. And we were using it for like weighing out baby formula and stuff, so we wanted it to be pretty accurate. So we sent it back, got another weighing scale. That was also crap. I think it was a third one in the end that we settled on, which was a bit more of an expensive one. It's like 30 quid for a nice set of scales. It didn't even turn on. I was like, well, just send it back. And then I was like, do you know what? If we're going to spend a little bit more on a pair of weighing scales, let's just buy a proper pair of weighing scales like I do for my work. So I bought a pair of scientific scales from a company called Adam Equipment. They're like £95 for a pair of scales. And now we've got that. And it's hilarious because a few of my friends have come around and they were like, and they're teachers, and they're like, why have you got a set of scientific scales in your kitchen? What the hell are you doing? But they just work and they're quality, and that's what I want. But the point here is still that everything is going down in quality. People are scamming. Fraud is up. Fraud is massively up right now, all over the place. Shoplifting is up, and you hear it in the news all the time that these stores are powerless to protect their inventory, and even when they do protect their inventory, they sack the staff that get involved with it. And I'm not about like vigilantism and trying to like, you shouldn't. It's dangerous to confront these people in the stores and everything, but it's just a general degradation of morals in society that I observe almost on a daily basis. Another example, I've got examples for days on this because I do genuinely believe that there is a real degradation in society that's happening right now. I was in the supermarket just the other day, and it's not a shoplifting based thing, but there was a lady, elderly lady, at the checkout part of the shop, and I was behind her in the queue. She paid for her goods, and she put it all into the bag. And then she said to the lady on the checkout, "Oh, I'm really sorry, could I have some help getting my shopping to the car? Because she's disabled, she's old, the shopping's heavy." And the lady went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you because I'm on the till." Fair enough. So she rang the buzzer and said, "Could a member of staff please come and help this lady?" And so the lady stepped to one side, and I went through with my shopping and got to the end. And by sort of 5 minutes going through all of that with the checkout, getting it all scanned and paying and everything, nobody had come over. And I just said to the checkout lady, I was like, "Is it someone coming to help this lady?" And she said, "Oh, I don't know, hopefully at some point." Anyway, I just said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll help her." So, and then the checkout lady was like, "Oh, no, you don't have to do that." And I said, "No, it's fine, I don't mind, I'll do it. It's not a big burden, I'm walking the same direction, I'll just help her put stuff in the car." And the old lady, bless her, was so nice, and she was like so grateful for that. But like, it's just, I don't know. I'm moaning now at small things, but it's like the self-checkout things at supermarkets now. There was just one lady on checkouts, and there's then all the self-service stuff. You're doing everything yourself now, and nobody cares. It's just awful. And I felt bad for the lady. And I always, I always try my best in society to help. But it's also like seeing people park in disabled bays. I see that all the time. I see people parking in children bays in supermarkets. There's a very big supermarket near me, which is a bit of a hoity-toity supermarket. I mean, actually, I'll just bloody name it. It's Waitrose. It's Waitrose, and it's a hoity-toity supermarket here in the UK, if you don't know it. And they've only got 3 children, parent and child spaces, which I think speaks volume about the clientele that go into there. It's not really one for families because the food is so expensive in there. But some of it is nice, and some of it we go to get nice treats for us. Occasionally. Anyway, I parked there with my kids in the car, but only after having to wait for some a-hole without kids get out of his space who was in there. And a few years ago I'd have said something. I'd have been like, kids only, parent and child parking. But at the same time, I'm like, do you know what? I just can't be bothered to fight with these people. And when you got your kids with you as well, you don't want to like get in an altercation with anyone, and you just don't know. Somebody, could, God knows, they could do something horrible. They could ram your car, or but the other worry, if you've got your kids with you, they might just go, "Oh, you're endangering your children, I'm going to call the police." And then you open up a whole other can of worms because, you've got children's safeguarding and children's services on your backside. And it's like, that's just the nature of the society right now. So we're all very isolating and isolated by this. And then that feeds more into the hands of the scammers and the fraudsters and the people who try and get away with everything and get away with just absolute crap in this society. This has turned into a proper little rant and a moan, hasn't it? But you know what? I think it has got a lot to say about society. back on topic for precious metals, is it part of the problem? Is it part of the solution? I think where we are within a precious metal society is we have a little bit of a heightened knowledge about where things are in society, and the fact that things are so expensive, the fact that fraud is up, the fact that society is just degrading down. There is seemingly less honor in society right now, less due diligence, less deference to powers that really should be respected, that people just don't bother with anymore. But I think us in the precious metals community, generally, we get it. But there are people who take advantage of that. So be cautious, be wary, be aware. Be your own money, I guess, as well, because be your own bank is a really important thing. Have that control over your money for precious metals, which is why I still buy precious metals to this day. So a bit of a tangential ramble, but I hope you've got something out of it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're interested in these Sigma metallitic machines, by the way, Trusty Metrics is the company you need to go to. There are links in the description box below to these machines. Please go and get them. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd really love to know what you got to think about this world, about this subject, about precious metals, about fakes, and about society, because I think it's quite telling where we are. That's it from me. Thanks all for watching. See you on the next one. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.